I think we should hear from one of the other collaboratives, Marty Needleman. Marty Needleman represents these people in court.
We have to represent the collaborative in court because this is not discretionary money from the budget generally. This was a deal, this is a contract, this is as has been pointed out, this money was allocated specifically as part of the understanding in terms of rezoning. Secondly, that's at a legal, mechanical point of view. It's not discretionary money. Indeed, the points of agreement, the source of the funding is not the budget. The source of the funding is ultimately the sale of air rights to the MTA site in the rezoned area. And it's expected to generate $12 million. This $2 million was clearly earmarked. Everything above that was assigned to a different displacement account. So anyhow, the second part was a more general point. There's no cutbacks to police, even in the worst of times. We are the police that make the rent stabilization law and other laws that protect tenants effective. Without the cops, and we're the cops, without the cops, there's no law. And indeed, the market is pushing landlords to total lawlessness, forcing people out left and right. The only protection are the organizations here and the legal services organization that can defend people and can enforce the law.
Marty, what's the next legal steps you're going to be taking? You're going to be taking HPD to court?
If necessary, we'll go to court and have the court decide how right we are.
Which court?
State Supreme Court. In Brooklyn.
And this is our other city council person who supports us, Councilman David Yes.
That's right.
Tell him, David.
Save our funding.
The reason that we are not going to rest is because landlords aren't resting. I don't care what people say about the economy and about rents. Landlords are still pushing forward, trying to get top dollar and trying to get people, trying to get their buildings free if that's what makes sense for them. And we people in this neighborhood, in our neighborhood, need help. They need assistance. When the city rezoned North Brooklyn, the administration made a commitment that we would protect people against harassment with laws and with the advocacy to enforce those laws. And the laws are no good without the advocacy to make sure that they are followed. This was a promise. We will make sure that it is kept. Thank you, North Brooklyn, for leading the fight, and I thank you to my constituents who are, I know you're here because you care, but you're here on behalf of your neighbors, and I thank you for that. Thank you.
And I would like to thank our city council people for standing in solidarity with our group, because as they say, people united will never be defeated.
Right,
and we're going to stay
united
will never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. And no peace,
No justice.
no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Just in case.
So there's only two things that we want. We want to restore our budget cuts, we want our Section 8 vouchers process, and we want to find housing for all of our beleaguered residents of Williamsburg and North Brooklyn. And here they are. These alive, breathing human beings. They deserve better from the city than they've gotten. So we thank you all for coming out.
Richie,
Do we have?
can I say something?
Yes, we've got one of our neighbor organizations,
I know everything's been said, but
Peter Gillespie from NAG.
Bloomberg sold this rezoning to the Greenpoint Williamsburg community the same way George W. Bush sold the Iraq War to the American people, through public lies, media manipulations, and broken promises. While Bloomberg's cronies cashed in on speculative real estate market fueled by the rezoning, they cashed in on huge property tax breaks, they cashed in on huge heightened density bonuses for waterfront development. Hundreds of low and moderate income families and households have been harassed and displaced from their homes. Mike Bloomberg has a moral and a legal obligation to lessen the blow that his rezoning has landed on our community and to provide the necessary assistance to keep the people in our community, in their homes. And I got one more thing to say here, hold it. What do we get instead of that? Bloomberg's bait and switch. If these drastic and unfair cuts to the Greenpoint-Williamsburg anti-displacement program are not restored, then Mike Bloomberg has to go.
Yes,
Mike Bloomberg has to go.
Mike Bloomberg has to go. Mike Bloomberg has to go.
Mike Bloomberg
Has to go. All right.
By the way, we're meeting with the Community Advisory Board on the rezoning on Thursday. That's in 2 days. Hopefully, the mayor's office will tell us that our budget cuts are restored because these were promises made. Everyone's already made their money on this and walked away in many cases with their suitcases full and left us holding the empty bag. So give us our money back, give us our Section 8 vouchers, give our people places to live. Thank you.
All right.
Any other questions?
Are you saying there's a chance that it's going to be restored within a couple of days?
Well, we expect them to restore the money because it's the only right thing to do. There has been some conversation that they want to restore some of the cuts. We absolutely need all of the money restored because for the total contract, it's over $500,000 that was taken out. And we will not be able to service the people who are standing behind me if we don't get all of the money restored. And we will, when we see it in writing, when they come to us on Thursday, because it's just a matter of somebody who's making some adjustments, because remember, the first announcement after Election Day on the budget cuts was that there was going to be a 2.5% cut across the board for all departments in New York City for 2009, and a 5% cut across the board for 2010. Yet for our community, they cut the budget by 30%, which is 15 times more for 2009, and by 43%, which is 8.5 times more for 2010. So they were draconian. They basically showed that they didn't care. We're allowing for them to say that they made a mistake and rebalance the budget on someone else's back, not on our community's back. Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
Does anybody want to speak? Any of the press
Does
would
anybody
like to
else want
speak to one of the tenants
to the
here?
press?
Sure.
Any tenants?
You